What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Future Night Eric here, and today I am with...
My name is Matthew, and I played virtual at last week's regional.
And what place did you come?
I came about 5th.
That's 5th place out of about, I think it was 55 players, so very, very impressive. Well done, Matthew. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the tournament and your matchup and your overall score?
Okay, so the tournament was quite interesting. South Africa, obviously, our first range of decks. So all my matchups, they were rather interesting. So the first one I had was a Gravekeeper's deck. The person was playing, they were relying on Necro value to stop people from doing things like graveyard.
Playing Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah.
And for my deck, that was kind of annoying, but I was able to overcome that, so I'm happy about that.
Very cool.
Second game was against Cole and his Crankheads. It was my only loss for that whole entire tournament.
And I believe he came second or...
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean...
So I don't feel too bad about that, but I think he played really well, so I think he deserved that win.
Okay, awesome.
Third matchup was against Cyber Dragons, and, well, how can I say? A few of my tech choices kind of...
Screwed that deck over, but...
Yes. Also, I think I was able to get over his Cyber Dragon Infinity, and just, overall beat over him.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth matchup was the expected Swartzel Tenyi matchup.
Awesome.
That was a bit of a close match with that, I'll admit. It was, I think, one of my favorite matchups for the whole entire day.
Awesome.
And then the last two were both dinosaur players.
Which, if we see in the main deck, you're running some extra spots just for them.
The only difference between the two was that the last one played a small Dogmatica engine, which was quite interesting in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough for me to...
So what was your overall score then?
So it was 5-1.
5-1. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say? Any shout outs you want to give before we get into the deck profile?
Just a shout out to the AI best people.
Awesome.
I've played with them all the time, and they all have their own weird builds, and I always have to figure out what the hell am I going to do for each and every one person, so that's a lot of fun. So shout out to those people.
Awesome. Cool, then let's get into the deck profile. Main deck first.
Okay, so since I'm playing virtual, I play 3 Mahimi Lulus.
You just want to put them upside down, sir. Cool, 3 Lulus. Obviously staple for the deck.
3 GGs. 3 Lolos. Let me just try to organize this quite nicely. And 3 Lilies. So this is the standard playmakers of the deck. Basically, what they do is they target a virtual that's on the field. You then generally send a card of a different type. So if you target a monster, you have to either send a spell or trap, and then each one has their own gimmicks. So Lulu's obviously the best. Mm-hmm. She will add the third type. So if you target a monster, you would send like a spell, then you have to add a trap.
And so on.
Or forth. GG.
It's like a Scam effect in phase. Yes. Add back, but from grave.
Yes. Any virtual monster. Mm-hmm. Lily is a double Foolish Barrel in essence. And then Lolo is a revive, but you cannot revive whatever you send. So if you send, for example, Lulu, you can't revive Lulu.
Okay, that's fair. Very, very cool. And of course, we're maxing out on all the names, I presume.
Yes.
Awesome.
Obviously, I want to see one of each, at least, in my starting hand.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay, now the other virtual monsters that I'll play are Nyan Nyan, I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce her name, and one Toto. So Nyan Nyan is, most people play between 2 or 3. Basically, if a level 3 monster, it doesn't matter what kind of level 3, just anything, she can revive herself and then as a tuner, but then she banishes herself when she leaves, which is pretty cool because then you can... Her other effect is she can target any banished card, even your face downs, and then shuffle it back into the deck.
Very, very cool. And I presume you're playing 2 because you're maxing out on E-Telly?
Yes.
So you don't need
emergency tally, and also the other ones can send her quite easily, setting up quite nicely. So I think 2 is fine for this deck, and especially with the size.
Not a lot of people play this one, so what made you decide to play this one?
So I find that I play a lot of rank 6 monsters in my extra deck. Which we'll get to. So I feel like playing one of her at least helps me get into those rank 6 plays.
Alright, very, very cool. So that's all the virtual monsters, I presume?
Yes, so let me introduce my spies. Let's take these away first. I played one Necroll Banshee and one Doom King Balladrock.
That's in the main, which is absolutely insane.
Yes.
So my question is, how many times did you blind send Banshee for Zombie World in the day?
So
I think
I've sent it quite a bit. So the Cyber Dragon player and the Dinosaur players, obviously Zombie World screws them over quite a bit.
yeah, they just lose to it.
Although I'll be honest, in the one Cyber Dragon matchup, I think I was a Chusei and a Zombie Roll, but he had Cosmic Cyclone and he had to go for the Zombie Roll, so that in essence protected my Chusei.
Awesome.
And if these cards get stuck in my hand, it's not a big issue. I will send King Long use King Long's effect to send these to the grave, and then they can go off during the next turn.
So was that the concept between running both? Because I see a lot of people just run one Banshee. So if you open either of them, do you then send the other one with Beatrice, or is there a combo where you can end up sending both from deck?
Well, Beatrice can basically send both. So during your turn, you either can send Banshee or Doom King Balladrock, doesn't matter.
And then you send the other.
Yes, then during the draw phase, I would send the other, and then the standby phase, the whole entire play is straight.
So you actually sit on Beatrice oftentimes instead of, just moving her away for whatever the reason.
Yes.
That's very cool. Okay.
Also, I find Beatrice to be quite fantastic, which I'll explain when I get to other cards later on. Okay, then my hand traps. 3 Nibiru's, and then the Cyframe package.
So I think the Cyframe package is pretty standard in the virtual deck, just because you can always add back the driver off of the level 3. But Nib, what made you decide to play Nib in the main?
I feel like I might have seen a lot of combo decks coming into this tournament.
And did you? How many times did you resolve Nib in the day?
I'll be honest, the one time I was able to resolve Nib, but it was against Barone. And it was under the 5 summon limit, so at that time I couldn't really, I get rid of the negate, so during my turn it's fine, but obviously Nip didn't really go off that, but otherwise, most people, I don't really see it sort that much.
Okay.
Well, much less than what I would have liked to.
Would you change it out for anything else, or do you think you're going to keep it in the main moving forward?
I think I'll experiment with Nip.
Okay.
I like Nip, it's one of my favorite cards.
It's a blowout card in certain instances, definitely.
Yes. I mean, if I could resolve Nib, it's basically a big one for me.
True.
Gamma's quite nice because most of the time I would prefer to have a back row deck, and then when I try to resolve one of my virtual rolls, if they want to ash it or do some other thing, I can always use Gamma to protect that play.
True.
And then I obviously get a nice body, and obviously I can use whatever to
Shuffle back driver.
Yes. Also, if they're in my hand and they're dead, I can always send King Long to discard them for the cost, or even Tota, I can actually revive Tota from a grave by discarding one of the E's.
Oh, very, very cool. All right, awesome.
So, nice little...
hand trap package.
Yes. So, that's that for the monsters. So, one Pot of Desires.
Of course, it's at 1.
Arguably one of my favorite spells on the Onzo deck, King Long.
Such a good card.
Kowloon.
Sure.
So, I'm not too worried about banishing my cards. I can always shuffle them back for Yan Yan if I feel like I need something from the bench pile. King Long is actually quite fantastic because what you can do is you can banish a virtual from your grave to negate one of your opponent's monsters.
So it baits out, usually negates, and then when it ends up in grave, you also get the search, which is just insane.
So against the Dinosaur players, I had King Long and I kept negating their ultimate conductor Tyrannus, so they couldn't book immune me for a while.
Insane.
And then Kowloon can obviously, it sets up whatever virtual gate you need.
Cool.
So one of the things I could do is with Kowloon is I can put King Long out, and then I can use King Long to banish the Kowloon to
negate something, yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Let's get rid of those. One Properties Feather Duster.
In the main, I'm guessing just some back row removal. You need some. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's never really a dead card, and then your opponent absolutely doesn't play any back row
at all. Sure.
Zombie rolled.
Did you ever hard draw the zombie world?
Several times actually, but that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, because you just activate it and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I can always send Baldarok or Beatrice, and then the Beatrice can send something else like a King Long or even a Token Collector or whatever.
Yeah.
One more thing I should mention about Zombie World is that it can stop the Wanderese players from
Playing
there.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they can't contribute anything other than zombies, which obviously they don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Called by Grave.
It's that one, we play it, sure.
I love Called by Grave. 3 E-Tellies.
So you the deck pretty much traded 2 Desires for the 3rd E-Telly, from what I can tell.
Yes.
Yeah, and how did E-Telly do in the day? I know it's one of the ways to play through like several negations.
In my opinion, it's alright.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'd rather prefer the bottom Desires over Emergency Tools, but Emergency Tools is fun.
Okay, awesome.
And I found I've on Strawn 2 and I could use it, both in the game, so it's fine. So from that, it's okay. It's a K card.
Okay.
Okay, that's it for the spells. Then the traps, 1 Jean-Wu and 2 Chuseis.
So I know a lot of people don't like this card. I think it's cracked as a Monster Reborn, and a lot of people play 3 of this. So what ended you up on these ratios and playing this card?
So I think this is pretty standard if you choose. Okay, so Chuseis, most people always play 2.
Yeah.
Jean-Wu, on the other end, I find it's the one card that can really help me in certain matchups. For example, the dinosaur players, until I had King Long in my hand, I had to rely on this to stop their conductor from attacking all my things.
Ah, see, so you just used it to bring back bodies to not die. Yeah.
Otherwise, Jean-Wu is great for just reviving things from your grave. Chusei is my favorite trap in the Honzai deck. Obviously, destroying things your opponent has.
Every turn is very good.
Yes.
It's like your in-archetype DPE.
and it recycles your card, so you can keep going at it. So most of the times I find King Long and Yang Nian to be the most banished cards. And shuffling those back to get their effects again and again is
resetting your engine.
fantastic.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay.
That's it.
That's it for the main deck. And you played 40 exactly, or?
Yeah, it was 40 cards exactly.
Awesome. All right, off to the extra deck.
Okay, let's see. My favorite synchro of all time.
My least favorite synchro of all time.
Vermin Dragon Mech.
Sure.
GG.
Sure.
Ultimated Tolkien.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Crystal Wing to go to Tolkien. Coral Dragon. And then Stardust Charge Warrior, which is probably the most played synchro in this entire deck.
I think this is pretty standard. I don't think many people. I know some people cut this one, but I don't know why they would. But otherwise, this seems pretty standard.
I mean, that's insane. I see GG at least once in every matchup I had.
That's awesome. Alrighty.
Okay, so that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 synchros. Okay, I play number 39, Utopia Beyond.
Okay, what is this?
Okay.
What does it do?
So, if this card is XE summoned, the attack of all monsters your opponent controls becomes 0. That's not targeting.
Oh wow, okay.
The other effect is not too relevant, so it says one per turn during other player's turn, you can detach a material from this card to target a face of XEs you control, and when Utopia in the graveyard, send that to the graveyard, then revive the Utopia, but I don't play Utopia.
Okay, so it's literally just Zeus fodder, basically.
It's Zeus fodder, and also it just can get over things that really have high attacks and you can't target or destroy it or what.
So like Dragoon, for instance.
One virtual Pan.
That card's mad.
I love this card. So in my Sword Soul matchup, what happened was, this card has an effect where if it's destroyed by an opponent's stacking monster or destroyed by the card effect, I can special summon 2 virtual monsters with the same type and attribute but different names from the deck, and that actually came up.
That's insane.
Otherwise, most of the time, I would just overlay it with, where is it? Gaia Charger, and then just go into Zeus.
So for 4 material Zeus, yeah.
Yeah, so Gaia Charger, Zeus, Photon, Strike Bouncer.
That's also quite interesting.
So this card, it's if your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, which I think a lot of decks do, this can negate that effect and then deal 1,000 damage.
Okay, so it's just a negate and a burn. Very, very cool. All right.
It doesn't destroy it, but I feel negating whatever monster effects they have is fantastic.
Yeah.
Constellar, Watsomi M7.
How many times did you summon this? Because I quite like this card, but I don't see a lot of people playing it.
This card actually is I once tried to use it against the Gravekeeper player, but he had Crackdown. But he only resolved it late. I was able to return his Spiritless back to the extra deck, and then he took control of it, unfortunately.
Okay, very, very cool.
Okay, number 49, Fortune 2.
Also Zeus fodder, I presume.
Yes, and that's only if I'm really desperate.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't see it this matchup, but there might be a matchup where I may need to build that and just on Zeus to try help me struggle through. Then one of the MVP XE.
Please don't get this banned, Matthew. I play BA, please.
Beatrice, I can obviously, like I mentioned earlier, you could set up the zombie rules combo with this. You could also send token collector.
You can send parts of your engine to get them going.
King Long if you're really desperate for that.
Very, very cool lineup. Thank you so much. Cool. And then we move on to the side deck, which I think, from what I saw, is a little bit spicy.
Okay, so Lancia, I think.
Staple in every side deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the number of decks that don't get hit by a Lancia is minuscule.
Yeah.
I can't imagine any deck that doesn't vanish. Then the token collectors
For the
and
Sword.
Pankratops.
Yep.
So token collectors, I was expecting a lot more adventure token players.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I don't really see the adventure token, but it did resolve it against Sword player, and then you had to immediately scoop after that.
Oh, wow.
So sad for him. I played 3 Lava Golems. I don't rely on normal summoning, so Lava Golem is fantastic.
Very
and
cool.
if I have 2, I can tribute him again and again. It's not a hard one per turn.
Very cool.
I was expecting to see a lot more back row players at the same time, so I was playing Denko Seka.
That card is gross.
So once I normal summon, their back row is just
Dead.
It's just a sitting duck. And then I was expecting Eltic players, so if it was an Eltic player and they wanted at that Scourge or whatever, they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, insane.
And then Twin Twister.
Okay, that's just for back row. Very, very cool.
That is mostly for decks that play back row, but not a lot of back row.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Matthew, for doing this deck profile with me. I really appreciate it.
And I thank Eric for letting me do it.
Awesome. Well done again on your 5th place. 55 players. Very, very well done. And then hopefully we see you topping the upcoming OTS qualifier.
Yes, I'm hoping that as well. Unless people figure out what I'm doing and they have their own spicy plays, which I look forward to playing.
All right, and then this is Future Night and Matthew signing out.